Good evening, everybody. Marcus C. Williams here. How are we looking in the camera, Austin? Looking good?
Oh, you look good.
All right, fantastic. All right, so welcome, everybody. Welcome to Marcus Made in America on the We the People podcast network. We got an awesome show for you, and we're gonna rate this NR17. Did we decide on that? We're sticking with NR17, right?
Is it NR17 or NC17?
Is it NC? Is it different contexts in which it can be NR17?
It could be. I don't know.
I am not sure.
Yeah.
However,
rated M for mature.
Here we go. Well, I don't know if it's that graphic. Jiminy.
It's all 17. That's the one for on video games.
Oh yeah, you know they've got little 13-year-old children playing them.
Oh, they always do.
Crazy,
oh man,
crazy
there's a spider on your mic.
There is a very large spider. Oh my goodness.
It's not on the camera.
Very, very huge spider.
Oh my goodness, he came out to say hello.
Yeah, I guess he likes our show.
Yeah.
So that is a very, very sizable spider so close to my face. So
it's fine.
Anyway, yeah. So this show may be a little heavy for some sensitive individuals. So I'm going to ask any sensitive individuals or people who feel like they might be a little soft or a little snowflakey to please log off now. I'm not able to guarantee you that your feelings at some point won't be hurt, which is an actual thing that I forgot to issue last week. I can't believe I forgot to say
Oh my God.
It
was because it was so late.
It must have been.
Yeah.
So I forgot to issue that warning last week. I hope that nobody's feelings were hurt too bad. Or no, that's not true. I hope that they learned and understood from stuff that I was saying that there are alternative points of direction that we could possibly go in and probably should go in. I also hope that you really enjoyed what I was saying and what we were going through. So today, let's jump right into it. Well, Jiminy, I don't know where we start at, Austin. So we've just got so much stuff going on in America right now. We're still reeling from whatever you call that mess in I don't know, what do you call it? The war on terror, right? Afghanistan?
Oh yeah,
the
great Afghanistan escape, or I don't know.
So, can you believe we just left all of those people over there? Thousands and thousands of people we left over there. Many of them American citizens. And at first we left American citizens over there too. Like, this was a command, and I feel like where a lot of this stems from is that people don't understand the role of what the president actually is and what he does. People have to remember the president is commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Excuse me. That means that the president runs the armed forces, okay? He decides all major strategy, all overarching strategy. He would be read into these type of things. He would know right off the bat that it is not a good idea to pull all our soldiery out of the area before getting rid of the equipment that was there. I mean, they could have at least blown it to smithereens. I mean, that would have been the lightest, right? But no, we leave it there for our, I guess, enemies. I'm not sure exactly where we're going with that, but we'll find out. So fun, silly Willy there, right? Everybody's making fun about America all over the world because of pulling out of Afghanistan. Not that we should have been there to begin with. And we spent a crap ton of money that we could have really used to do a lot of other development inside the United States. Or, I mean, shoot, for the amount of money that we really ended up spending over there, we could have took over the whole country, like for real. Like for real. But poor planning, poor execution, stuff like that. It was just bad the way that we got out of there. And then we had nowhere to put, well, all of the people that wanted to come to America. And with the country just falling to bits in less than 3 days, the whole country fell to an enemy power in less than 3 days. I just think that that's kind of remarkable. It fell so fast, and now we're going to bring everybody from over there over here. And they're like, oh, well, we can vet them, this, that, and third. Da, da, da. No, you really are not able to. It's not like the verification system in Afghanistan wasn't a couple of Post-it notes on some walls somewhere. Okay. They never had a really well built out computer infrastructure system to navigate and hold all of those records. So now all of a sudden, now you're trying to vet them to get them into America, and you can't even see any of their records or information. So they're like, oh, well, we're going through international databases, this, that, and the third. Can you be honest here? Like, Afghanistan hasn't had people on the international database unless they were like committing terrorist activities in other countries. Afghanistan hasn't even had a real database of anything for, well, legitimately ever. And that's something that's worth talking about. So now we've got these people coming over here and we don't know what to do with them. We don't know where they should go or anything like that. But most importantly, now all of a sudden, now we've got, well, measles. Bum, bum, bum. It's too bad we didn't have any bum, bum, bum music. You have bum, bum,
Sorry,
bum?
I'll do it.
Let's see.
Bum, bum.
Measles.
Measles.
The scourge of America, the plight on mankind, boiling, bubbling blisters that feel like a searing hot frying pan against your skin that you just have to scratch so hard that you get it off. Pause. But yeah, no,
That was terrifying.
It was. I hope it was terrifying. Measles are no joke, you guys. Like measles are serious. So, that was me and Austin were over here talking about some stuff earlier before we started the show. So I'll bring that up later. I'm not ready for that yet, Austin, but that's kind of crazy.
Okay.
So with the new measles situation and them bringing measles into our country now, thank you for the measles, I guess. I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on. Measles is a very serious thing. I don't know why anybody wouldn't be checking these people for things like, wait, what is it? Mumps, measles, and rubella, right?
Yeah, the big three.
The MMR vaccines, right? So, not to be confused with mRNA. Okay. But measles, mumps, and rubella. So we've got measles coming into our country. Measles hasn't really been around like that for a while. And we really need to pay attention to what's going on. We had Biden get on TV like literally like 2-3 days ago, and I'll have to find the whole video and I'll post it to my website because wow, man, let me tell you something real serious. What Biden said, and I think it was between 17 and 27 minutes, okay? He said all types of insane stuff in such a short period of time. I just didn't even know where or what to say or to think about it. It was beyond me. So we'll go through a little by little of what he said. I'm just going to hit some of the highlights of what Biden said in this press conference the other day. So he said, and this is the president talking, the president of the United States. And he's out here saying all types of crazy things like, well, vaccinated people must be protected from unvaccinated people. Vaccinated people must be protected from unvaccinated people. Vaccinated people must be protected from unvaccinated. How does that make any sense? Can somebody explain that to me? I was under the impression that this vaccine, which technically doesn't fit the qualifications to be called a vaccine because it doesn't stop transmission, lower the rate of transmission, or prevent you from acquiring it to begin with. So, I mean, anyway, going forward with that, he said that we have to protect the vaccinated from the unvaccinated. The whole point was that the vaccine works. This is what we were told. We were told the vaccine works. We were told that we should have confidence in it. And now you're saying that you have to protect the vaccinated from the unvaccinated. And you're the president of the freaking United States of America, the last bastion of freedom in the whole world. Okay? They call the president of the free world. Okay? Like, we barely have a free state in New York State where I live. This is so concerning. When you say stuff that's so frightening, like you have to protect unvaccinated people from vaccinated people, you really start to have to ask the question about the messaging that's being handed out by the people at the top. This is some very, very, very interesting messaging. So your messaging is protect vaccinated from unvaccinated people. Now, how do you do that? Because the vaccine was supposed to protect people. So is it not protecting people? But people who are vaccinated can still transmit it. They can still catch it. They can still die from it. And they can still be hospitalized by it. The fact of the matter is that after taking this cocktail, you generally do have a lower likelihood of being hospitalized for severe symptoms. However, the fact of the matter before that even is that you already had an extremely low likelihood of that happening. But we do have other issues to take into account: diabetes, obesity, just general health practices and exercise. That's a big thing that nobody really talks about. They say stay in your house, don't go outside, don't get any sunlight, don't get vitamin D, even though sunlight kills the virus and vitamin D is good for you. I mean, it's really, really questionable about the goals and what's being told to us. It's really, really crazy. It's really crazy. And we can't, as a nation, just honestly sit idly by and let our leaders tell us crazy stuff like this. Like, you're not going to be able to protect vaccinated people from unvaccinated people because there's nothing to protect them from. What are you trying to protect them from? Them existing? You're already putting in place segregation in many different institutions, schools, workplaces, and all types of things. In the same press conference, it's right? Like, that wasn't bad enough by itself, right? So Biden says that he's going to have the Department of Labor instituted where any business that has more than 100 people has to have mandatory vaccines, even if they don't want to. Now, that's something that's extremely serious. Now, you're forcing these companies to mandate vaccines for their people. The vaccines should be definitely optional and they should be voluntary. Like, you shouldn't be coercing people into getting this vaccine. And it bothers me so bad every time I call it a vaccine, because it's not really. It's just a cocktail, you guys. Like, my issue isn't with the cocktail itself. My issue is the misrepresentation and the mismarketing of it. That's very, very serious to me. I wish more people would understand why it's so serious, because misrepresenting what it actually does and setting the goals and the thought process in people's heads right is extremely crucial. And that's why we're at a point where everybody's absolutely terrified and they think that everybody needs to get a vaccine, even if they've already been vaccinated twice, right, Austin? Now you need your third booster shot.
That's what the story going around is. I have yet to, anybody to tell me to get it, so I am not getting it until I need to.
Well, but isn't that kind of the problem? Who came out today, and some other doctors like the World Health Organization, and they said that they have seen nothing that shows that boosters have any better rate of effectiveness. And I just thought that was very interesting. Let me see if I can pull up that story here real quick, because I was reading this thing and I was just like, wow, that's really, really, really kind of amazing. So let me see if I can pull it up here. All right, here we go. Scientific evidence, this comes from Forbes. Scientific evidence does not back COVID booster shots. Researchers warn even for the Delta variant. Okay, so it's basically saying that even with the Delta variant, the researchers are warning that boosters are not effective. So what's the top of the line? The push to roll out COVID-19 booster shots is not being driven by sound scientific evidence, according to a group of international researchers in the Lancet Medical Journal, a very prestigious medical journal, Monday, who said that the available evidence shows vaccines to be highly effective against the Delta coronavirus variant, and that unwarranted messaging about booster doses undermines overall confidence in vaccines. Wow, people. Isn't that amazing? Because that's different messaging than what we're getting from the White House right now. That's different messaging than what we're getting from the talking heads on places like MSNBC or CNN, stuff like that. Like, this is a completely different picture of what reality looks like. And it's funny because the article starts off by stating that the doctors are saying that they believe that the vaccines are of value. However, they don't see any value in booster shots. And that's what the science tells you. And they say that this is not being driven by science. And that's something that people need to look at and pay more attention to. You gotta pay attention to what's actually going on, people. We really, really have to be more vigilant because they will continue to mislead us if we do not pay attention. And when they say something that's funky, call them on it because they're always doing that. They're always saying something odd and out of sorts, and people are just like, "Oh well, if we just let them say what they feel like, eventually they'll go away." Even though nothing goes away, nothing changes. People have gotten all their shots that they've requested, and they still are supposed to social distance and put on masks and still run the risk of dealing with shutdowns and other things like that. And it's crazy. It's crazy because we've continued to let the government get out of hand and out of control. So the crazy thing is it gets worse, right? Like, that wasn't all that was covered in Biden's speech. So he goes on and he says, well, if governors of difference, and I'm watching on this spider, you guys. So if you see me looking away and stuff like that, I don't know what this guy is doing, but I don't want him to be all up on me. It's a big one. So
Still on the mic stand?
He decided to go this way underneath the table and hopefully not end up on my leg. As I'm talking about it, let me change my body positioning just a little bit so we can.
Do you want a notebook or something to slap him with?
I am doing my best not to have to kill this guy.
Right.
He looks like he eats a lot of the bugs that I don't like. Fair enough. That's why I like spiders, you guys. I like spiders. Like, I'm not like, I don't have like a whole bunch of pictures of spiders or pet spiders or stuff like that. But I do like spiders because I do not like other bugs. I feel like that's fair. They get the other bugs.
I also like spiders, but from more than arm's length. If they get within arm's length, sorry, they've given up like their right to live. That's the end.
I think it's crazy. I just don't do anything that crawls, skitters, scatters, or scuzzes when it's in my personal zone, especially if it's in my living quarters. I definitely don't play with it because it doesn't pay rent. If they don't pay rent, they don't have any business there. I feel the same way about children. They need to get a job. 3 years old, you need to be working. No, I'm joking. But but still though,
I think at this point that like McDonald's and stuff would probably take the 3-year-old. They're really hurting.
Yeah, but they're not the only people hurting. And that's why these things like what Biden was saying are very dangerous to our economy, and not just to our economy, to our health, to our mental health, and to our just general sense of well-being as a society. It's very, very, very concerning. But hell, I mean, after that, Biden went on and said some more goodies, right? So Biden said, any governors that are not doing what I want or what the federal government wants, I'm going to do everything that I can to get them out of the way. America. The president of the United States says that he wants to overrun state rule with federal rule. Are you paying attention to what's going on right now? America, I need you to listen. I need you to pay attention. This is terribly troubling and extremely alarming. Anybody who is within the sound of my voice or watch that live should understand how serious a statement that was made by the president of the United States, that he will take power and authority away from the government that is for the state level government and put it in the hands of the federal government. That's not how our Constitution is written. That's not how our country is supposed to be run. This is very, very serious, everybody. We need to be standing up in mass and saying, we're not going to go for this. We're not going to tolerate this. This is nonsense. The federal government's power needs to be limited. And it really, really does. Because the federal government keeps overreaching. That's why you see they've had quite a few different SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States issues going on where they ended up losing cases because a lot of what they're doing is not legal. It's problematic. And taking away states' rights in favor of federal rights, in favor of federal oppression, really, because that's what it is. If the federal government runs everything and isn't able to be questioned, that's a problem, you guys. You got to wake up. We have to wake up now. We have to say, no, Biden, we're not going to go for this. No, Nancy, we're not going to go for this. No, whoever else, Chuck or whoever else is in there, Mitch McConnell, whoever. Who's Mitch McConnell's second in command now?
You know? That'd be Mitch McConnell Jr.
I like what you did there. I don't know. I feel like maybe Kevin McCarthy, right? I don't even know how that works. Anyway. But yeah, so like these are supposed to be our elected officials who are supposed to be leading our nation, and they're not standing up for our nation right now, no matter what side they're on, no matter what position they're in, no matter what political affiliation. They're not standing up for us as citizens. Their job is to represent our citizens and to uphold our Constitution, and they are not doing that at this time. They are not holding up our Constitution because they want to take away your rights. They want to limit the states' rights and create a stronger federal government, which is completely the opposite of how our country was supposed to be set up. Now, we can go into Thomas Jefferson and the Federalist Papers and Locke and I'm sure a million other people that have different takes on the way our government should be run and things like that. But the point of it in general is that we're supposed to have a small government, and government is supposed to be focused on the local angle. And if we're not focusing on local, we're missing out. But if we're letting the federal overrun the local, then we're allowing too much to happen in our nation. And we have to stand up and we have to step forward. And now is the time. Okay. People say, well, Marcus, what can we do about this? There's so much going on. I feel so stressed. I feel so concerned. I say, listen, the best we can do is preach the word to everybody that we meet. Listen, we need to work on limiting government. We need to send emails, text messages, regular snail mail to our elected officials on the state, local, and federal level and let them know that we are not okay with what's going on. We demand something be done. We demand that they restore our nation to the way that it's supposed to be. Okay? Weak federal government, strong local government. That's the way that it's supposed to be. And our government isn't supposed to be that big, but we keep doing expansion and expansion and expansion. And we need to limit it because all it is feeding the monster itself. We keep growing government for people to stay in government, for them to stay in positions which they are just benefiting off of while the people suffer in our nation. We need to come together and we need to say no more. It's so much going on right now. And it really all starts in Congress. It really, really does. And I hope we get to midterm elections so we can turn this thing around really good, because the direction that America is going in is extremely sad. And you saw with, what is it called? The voting bill that they were trying to push in the Congress. And that was nothing but a power grab by the federalists. They're out there trying to take away states' rights to conduct their own elections. You don't do that. That's ingrained in the not the Constitution, but the in the Constitution. It is. It's ingrained in the Constitution. So it's just you don't do that. You don't do that. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I want to talk more about it, but oh geez, can you believe that wasn't all Biden said? That but I feel like that guy that used to do those commercials, but wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
Right? Doesn't even cut Julian fries. Oh man. You know, I don't know what Julian fries are. Are those the carnival fries that go around in a circle like a sled?
I think Julian fries are just shoestring fries.
Oh, is that what that is?
I think it's just the fancy name for them. I could be entirely wrong, by the way.
I don't know if it's the
Oh, okay. I mean, it could be the spinny ones. Like, you know,
maybe I just want it to be the spinny ones.
you know what? I think. Did you ever see Aladdin?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what I think of is, you know, the story. He's like, even makes Julian fries, and then like I think a bunch of curly fries pop out. I think you're right. You know what? I'm gonna give that one to you.
You know what's so funny? They changed that song because I guess they felt like it was pejorative.
Well, yeah, they changed. It was the where they cut off your hands if they don't like your face. That was the line that we used to be in it.
That is an awesome line.
Oh, it's a great line, but now it's I don't know. It's something. I think it's like where the heat is intense and something is the sand is not great.
I don't know,
it doesn't flow as well.
I hear the Arabian Nights are like Arabian days, so
that's what I hear.
That's what I hear. Yeah. So going back to Biden and his press conference, amazing. I think it was like 20 something minutes, and he just said all the most extremely terrifying stuff. Like, you guys, like if you've ever watched any of Hitler's stuff, like, I'm not comparing this guy to Hitler. I'm not. I promise you, I am not. I am saying he is worse than Hitler. I said what I said, and I challenge anybody to contest that. Okay, because what we are seeing is we're seeing the beginnings of a totalitarian state being fostered by the embracing of communism. And that's a real serious thing. We see it and we experience it on a daily basis. We see the issues with schools. We see the issues with police. We see the issues with food. We see the issues with work. We see the issues with staffing. We see all of these issues. And many people fail to realize it's because of our poor policy that continues to be enacted that keeps making us lean more and more towards the totalitarian state based in communism. And it's sad. And we really, really have to stand up. And we have to stand up right now. People say, okay, so what can we do aside from just sending out letters or sending out emails or things like that? Go visit them. Go visit them. Go visit your elected officials. Go visit your politicians that are in the state level. Go visit all of them. Let them know. Say, hey, I've got concerns and my government's supposed to work for me. So I want to address those concerns with you. And the more people that do that in a very serious and open manner without violence, the more we can get done. People on the left are scared. People on the right are scared. Everybody's concerned about their privacy. So many people are concerned about their privacy, which are being stripped away under the guise of these vaccine passports. And if Biden keeps getting his way, we're going to move more towards vaccine passports everywhere and segregating the population. And that's very, very, very problematic. So Biden continues to have more fun at the expense of the American people. And it's kind of frustrating, you guys. So I understand why all of you guys are feeling some type of way. A lot of you feel down and feel hurt. I just don't want you guys to give up. Please don't give up. Please keep the faith. Keep the faith in yourself. Keep the faith that humanity can and will be better if we focus on doing what we're supposed to. And please stand up. Like, just stand up and speak up. And don't shut up. Because if we don't speak up now, we won't be able to speak up later. There was that great poem, the First They Came for Me poem. Well, First They Came for Them poem. Are you familiar with that poem, Austin?
Yes, sir.
So it's a poem that took place is based in Nazi Germany. So it reads like this. I'm going to read it to you. First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. That's a powerful poem, people. That's a very powerful poem. And that's what we're experiencing right now in the United States. Not enough people are speaking up, and they see everything keep getting worse and worse and worse and moving forward. And not enough people are speaking up. Some people have started to take to the streets in the name of protest. Excuse me. But we also have to be doing our best. Anybody that can afford it or that knows a lawyer that's good, we need to be inundating the federal government and the state government and the local governments with lawsuits about them infringing on our liberties, with lawsuits about them infringing on our freedoms, with issues with freedom of speech, with them taking away your ability to redress your grievances with your government, with the Second Amendment rights that are being stripped from us, with I mean, just legitimately pretty much everything. Like our whole Bill of Rights is under attack right now, people. We gotta wake up and we gotta speak up. And I just want to encourage you guys to do more and achieve more and keep pushing forward, because I know it's hard. I know people are out there losing their jobs and their livelihood, and you're struggling to make ends meet as it is. And a lot of this is coming all at one time. But this is because not enough people spoke up. They didn't think it would get this bad. You know, it was only going to be 14 days to flatten the curve, and then that turned into 18 months of lockdown. Okay, or what do they call it? Quarantine. Now, quarantine is supposed to be for sick individuals. Well, why are you locking down all the healthy individuals? What's up with that? I mean, the whole thing is a bit insane. And now they're segregating vaccinated from unvaccinated individuals at events and different things like that. And you, as Americans, are just going to go for it? Like, we're not far out of the civil rights era. I don't know how any American, black, white, yellow, purple, green, blue, I don't care. Okay. I don't know how any American could be okay with what's going on right now and just let it go. I understand that a lot of people have different thoughts on different measures and stuff like that, and that's important to them. But what's going on with our government, the grievous government overreach, them coming into our lives and invading every pore, needs lawsuits filed against them. Like, we have to start standing up. What they're doing is not even legal. They're getting away with it because nobody will challenge them. We have to start letting them know we're not going to sit by idly and let our government do us any type of way. It says right there in the Declaration of Independence that we're not supposed to let our government do us any type of way. But they keep doing us worse and worse and worse, and everybody's just letting it go like it's okay. And I'm not saying that people go do anything crazy. Matter of fact, I'm saying everybody be very peaceful and very directed with their actions. Make sure that you're engaging with your local politicians and your elected officials on the state level. Make sure that you're sending emails and talking to your friends and encouraging your friends to do the same so that you can get what you need met. If we don't do this now, we're going to lose everything. So Biden went on. Yeah, it gets worse, right, guys? Biden went on to say, he was talked about, I forget what the department was specifically, but it's basically strategic emergency response division, which is basically run by the DOD. Not basically run by DOD, it's run by the DOD. Okay. So they have the ability, if they decide that there's been a public health crisis by FEMA or some sort of a emergency by FEMA or whatever the case is, or by the president or Congress, and they can just go into a place and just suspend habeas corpus and just take over all roles as whoever's in power. So they can boot out this, they can overrule the state, they can overrule the local government, they can do whatever they freaking want. And Biden says that they're doubling their money. And it's run by the Department of Defense. It's run by the Department of Defense, people. But you want to know what else? on top of it being run by the Department of Defense and them doubling the budget, they're looking to expand the program, which has already apparently been test piloted in 18 different places. So you have to really be concerned about this because Biden, in the same speech right before that, said that he was going to make it so any governors that did not comply with him would be moved out of the way. What's this? Somebody said something? Hey, Steve, what's up, man? Good to see you. So yeah, so it's crazy that he wants to push governors out and just have the federal government take over and do what they want. And this is one of those mechanisms that they'll use to enforce these federal laws, federal rules over state. And we have to pay attention to how they're doing it. We also, and this is outside of what happened on the actual conference. Outside of that, this is another follow-up to what we were just talking about. Outside of that, the Capitol Police also are getting increased funding. Now, if you don't know about the Capitol Police, this is a very important thing. The Capitol Police aren't like regular police. Okay. They don't have any checks and balances. They don't listen to the mayors or they don't listen to the governors. They respond to one direction, period. And that is Congress. They're only responsible to turn in their information to Congress. They don't have any other oversight publicly. They don't have anything publicly. So the Capitol Police can really do whatever the hell they feel like. So now here's the thing about the Capitol Police. You could file a Freedom of Information document for basically any government entity or paramilitary thing or anything really, including the actual military and the CIA. But for the Capitol Police, you can't because they're only accountable to Congress. That's it. So they're trying to expand that also. And they're starting to open field offices. Yes, the Capitol Police, the Capitol Police, the police for the Capitol, are starting to open field offices all across the country. Their first two are in Tampa Bay and in San Francisco. And the stated point of the Capitol Police is to protect senators and congresspeople. So here's a question. If that's their job, why are they saying that they need to open up all of these new field offices? Well, I'll tell you why. They say they need to open up all these new field offices so that they can respond more quickly to any threats to senators or representatives. I said, oh, well, that's interesting. You getting a lot of threats from San Francisco? San Francisco, if you guys aren't familiar with San Francisco, has been like the most liberal city in like the state of the United States since like, I don't know what, the 70s, 80s. And San Francisco's been really, really hardcore liberal for quite some time. I mean, since before Full House got on the air. So it's real serious. What we got here? Yeah, Biden is definitely being maneuvered. So Biden is clearly being maneuvered. This is what somebody said. And it's a fact that with the stuff that Biden's saying, you have to wonder how he stood up there the other day at the 9/11 memorial with those other presidents, and none of them slapped the bejesus out of him. Okay? Like, I just don't understand. Like, the stuff that he's doing is clearly anti-American. Like, it doesn't make a lick of daggone it sense that people are just going for it like it's okay. So now let's go back to his speech because it gets worse or better. Oh, Jesus, you guys. It's just, you have to watch Biden's speech the other day. It's like the worst 17 minutes in the history of American history. Like, I mean, like the most recent thing that comes to mind of the extraordinary nature of this is the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, you saying that is way, 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 way too strong. No, it is not. The man who is the president of the United States said he's going to get rid of states' rights, and he's going to have the federal government run everything. He said he's put people in the military in positions so that they can overrun state governments and have them only respond to federal government. Okay, he said that we have to segregate people and separate the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. And you guys don't think that this is like a extreme, like serious catastrophe that's going on? People need to wake up and pay attention. Like, if you're not, I don't know, man. If you're not paying attention to what's going on, you deaf, dumb, blind, I don't know how to read, don't know how to speak. I mean, dyslexic. I mean, I don't know. Letters appear like numbers, something. Because you're just missing everything that's going on. It's just so terrible. I wish people would pay attention. Okay. It's bothersome to say the least. So moving forward, right? We're not done yet. Biden says some more crazy stuff in the same speech. Okay. This is why I'm telling you, Hiroshima and Nagasaki ain't got nothing on but on his speech that he gave the other day. So Biden said, oh my goodness, it's just so many things he said. It's just so crazy. Okay. So Biden also said, we need to prepare for the new pandemic, which will be here sooner than anybody thinks. Thank you, Biden. Thank you for telling me that you're about to start a new pandemic so you can take more power and control over my nation. It's very alarming that people aren't standing up to their elected officials right now. It's very, 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 very alarming. We just had the remembrance for September 11th and the 20th anniversary of that. A solemn day in American history where many law enforcement, firefighters, and just normal everyday people came down to the Trade Center and just helped so many people from that catastrophe that was there. Now, there is a debate of what caused it, what actually happened there. But one thing that's not up for debate is that thousands of people died needlessly. Thousands of people died needlessly, and lots of people did their best to try to help them and save them. And out of that, America, for a little short time, came together, and we were all Americans. But that didn't seem to last more than a few months. You know, they used that to pass the Patriot Act, which stripped us, which was one of the first things to strip us of rights, liberties, and privacies. And then some years later, they extended it and expanded it, and that's how we got the national ID card morphed into the Real ID Act, which is the little star if you see it on top of your license. That originally was going to come out as a national ID card, but it's illegal to have a national database of everybody's names and stuff like that. It's some tracking stuff that is actually baked into the government that they're not supposed to do, which is kind of awesome. But they seem to be forgetting stuff like this very rapidly. But I mean, wow. Everybody came together. America really came together, and right now we're so divided. We see the division wherever we go. Every day you see the hate, the animosity, because, well, you're red and I'm blue, or because you're Republican and I'm Democrat, or because I'm Democrat and you're Republican, or because I'm a libertarian and you're Republican, or everything. Just any reason to differentiate us or to separate us, because be it religion, be it cultural background, be it ethnicity, whatever they're using, whatever they can, they're using to distract us and move us away from unity, because they know that if we unite together, we would actually be able to stand up to the government and say, no, we're not going to go for this BS. We're not going to have this. We're not going to let it go. And we are going to stand up. And we are going to demand that our government take care of us the way they're supposed to and treat us fairly. We don't need a nanny state telling us everything to do. Like, if you've read the book 1984 by George Orwell, More power to you. If you haven't read that book, 1984 by George Orwell, go pick it up before they outlaw the book. It's very important. It'll show you exactly where we were going. And this book was written, back in the 40s? What year was was it written, Austin?
48.
1948.
You just flip the 4 and the 8.
Yep. So 1948, this book was written. And it's amazing to show everything that's happened. In the book, they talk about the news being constantly changed and manipulated. And one day they'll say one thing and the next day it'll be something completely different. My favorite thing that they were talking about in there was the chocolate rations in the news. And I won't do it justice, so I'm going to give a summary of what it was that happened. So in the chocolate rations in the book, Big Brother, who is the leader of the whole shebang, is the arbiter of everything. So Big Brother lowered the amount of chocolate rations to, I'm just going to make up a number. We're going to say he lowered it to 11 grams. Okay. It used to be more, than he lowered it to 11 grams. That was in the newspaper for like one day. So like 3 days later, they scrubbed the news completely. And they say Big Brother has raised the amount of chocolate rations to 8 grams. Well, wait a second. Didn't it get lowered to 11 grams and now it's being raised to 8 grams? But 8 is less than 11. Austin, is 8 less than 11?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So this is serious. So this is what we see happening every day on a daily basis in America right now. Like they'll say something one day and then they'll come back and they'll be like, oh, no, that wasn't it. That's not, I never said that, or this isn't what it was, or whatever the case is. We're in peril, people. Real peril. I think, well, if we're in so much peril and nobody is terrified except for a small amount of people, how do we get those small amount of people that run everything to pay attention to our actual needs and the fact that we don't want this nonsense going on? Honestly, I don't have all the answers to it. You know, I got a lot of answers for a lot of things, but this is something that I'm trying to figure out myself. I want to know why people aren't up in arms about this. I don't know why they aren't standing up. So I hear on September 18th, there's supposed to be a freedom rally or something at the Capitol. I don't know how that's going to go over, but my prayers and wishes go out to anybody who's going to the Capitol on September 18th. And may you be peaceful. May everything you do be peace. I hear there's going to be some counter protesters there. Please, you guys, do not get into it with these counter protesters. They're already trying to paint patriots as crazy people. Okay, so now I caught the spider. He's under this drink over here. So,
oh, all right.
Yeah, so we caught the spider, you guys. No, the spider is not injured. However, I will not guarantee the spider's longevity after we get off of this. He's got to be attended to. If we can, we'll get him outside safely. Okay, so please don't send PETA after us. Who boy, PETA. That's another episode.
Oh, dude, you could do a whole episode on PETA.
Like 3.
At least.
I saw their thing one time. They had talking about you should stop eating meat, and it was talking about the slaughterhouse and how they do people wrong and stuff like that. So I watched it, and then I just wanted a meat burger. I was just hungry.
Absolutely. Nothing makes you hungrier for meat than like seeing their like fake, like the Impossible Burger.
Yeah.
Like just looking at that makes me want to eat so much meat.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, but you know, that's the next direction that we're going in, because the government is paying people not to farm, and the farmers are having difficulty with equipment and stuff like that. But we can't talk about stuff like that, right? So the last till thing of Biden's thing was the new pandemic that's coming. You guys, please wake up. Please pay attention. Wake up your friends. Wake up your family members. Wake up the random person on the street. Tell them wake up, okay? We are living in America and our house is burning down, okay? Our house is on fire and everybody's sitting down like everything's copacetic. Nothing is okay, people. They told people 14 days to flatten the curve and it turned into 14 months. Okay. They said that it was going to be a voluntary shot, and now they're telling you it's mandatory. They told you that we were no longer going to oppress Americans and that we were talking more about justice and equality and stuff like that. And in the same time, in the same breath, they're taking away your freedoms and pushing on segregation and making segregation great again. So it's crazy that because you're not talking about color, but because you're talking about vaccination status, allegedly, because it's not a vaccine, remember, they're trying to make it like listen, I don't even know what to say, honestly. I'm just appalled. I'm really, 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 really appalled at what's going on. And I'm gonna need more of you guys to stand up. Like I'll stand up and I'll speak up all day. I'm only one person I need you guys to speak up to. I need you guys to speak up to. I need you guys to demand change. I need you guys to stand up. I need you guys to come together. I need you guys to talk to your lawyers. I need you guys to talk to your council people. I need you to talk to your assembly, senators, everybody. We must not let America fall. America is so close to falling right now. You can see the fingers of the communists all over it. You can see it in our school system right now, how they're dividing children. Racial segregation is okay. Teaching children that they're less than is okay. These are our school systems. You look at our medical hospitals. Look, we have the highest death rates of newborns and pregnant mothers in the Black community out of all of the numbers in the whole world in the United States of America. So we really have to pay attention to that. We have the housing crisis with ridiculous housing prices going off and out of the way because the government keeps spending money so fragrantly that they keep increasing inflation and debt and all types of lunacy. We are in serious peril, people. They're trying now for next year with this tax bill that they're not tax bill, but the budget bill that they're trying to pass. They're trying to make it so that the IRS, if your bank account has $600 in it, they can track every transaction inside your bank account. And to me, like that is a gross and extreme invasion of privacy. So they'll know when you bought that culotta from Dunkin' Donuts, okay? They'll know when you got that fan from Walmart, okay? This is not something that the government should, this is not data that the government should have. And let's be more honest about it. It's not data that the government actually needs. So why is this okay? Why are people letting this go? Is it that people just don't know? Or is that the people that are in power that do know, that don't like it, refuse to say anything? Is that the real issue? That, well, I mean, I guess evil is prevailing because good men say nothing or do nothing. We need more people to do more things and stand up. We need unity across the nation, across racial boundaries, across vaccination status. North and South need to unite. West and East needs to unite. We need to unite and remember that, like after September 11th, we are all American. We are the people of America. America is our country to be run by us, not to be run and lorded over by a few select politicians that have been in power for 30, 40 or more years. This is not how America is supposed to be run. This is not okay. It's not cool. It's not funny. And it's not cute. Look at what they're doing to the kids. They're forcing masks and social distancing on children. when children are at that age of social interaction, when they're supposed to be learning the exact opposite of what's being forced upon them. So, how is that going to affect their long term development? Not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. And people don't talk about that either. And I really wish that people would think about these things and the long term effects and ramifications of them on such a large scale. Our children are in danger. The future of America is in danger. And it's up to you, as a dutiful American citizen, to stand up and say, no more. We will not comply. We will not go forward with what you are thrusting upon us, which is unconstitutional and against the very fabric of the fibers of America. America is great because we do focus on local government and we do believe in small government. Okay. We can't have the federal government running everything. They can barely run anything right. Look at Social Security. They were talking about Social Security the other day and dealing with the budget reconciliation. So that's another crazy thing, which shouldn't be in there, but we're not going to talk about it. So they were talking about how they're out of money for Social Security. And we're in a terrible, terrible situation because 10,000 baby boomers every week are becoming of retirement age. 10,000 people every week. Do you know how fast that's depleting Social Security? And the interesting thing is when Obama was president, it was I think it was his second year in, was the first time that we ever dipped into the Social Security trust. Now, the trust is the money that is held for Social Security to make money off of. Think of it like a CD or investment capital. So basically, the Social Security people pay people out of the money that they're making off of that money. But when Obama became president, they had to dip into that money because Social Security was out of money. So that's happening now more and more and more and more. And now it's gotten to such a critical point where they're calling it a catastrophe. And these are the Democrats. These aren't Republicans. These are Democrats. And the Democrats are calling for them to make it so that everybody's automatically entered into an IRA or a 401k by their employers, which raises even more questions. First of all, I think that that's kind of a good idea. It's actually kind of a Republican idea. Actually, George Bush proposed something crazy, very similar to that, which I wasn't for at the time. And I'm not really necessarily for this the way that it's written, but I think it's got some merit to the ideas and the concept. However, the fact remains that they've taken all of this money from you, from me, and from everybody else, and we might not ever see it. We might not ever see it if we're in the millennials or the generations after, because who knows how they even do the generations now. It's millennial and Y and Z, and I don't know. Who knows? But I think most millennials should understand that their Social Security just probably won't be here when they get of retirement age. We need to address that. But more than anything, we need to address government overreach and what's going on in Congress with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer just running amok, trying to gain more powers for the federal government, specifically for Congress over the president. Because if you remember, they had it where they wanted to take Biden's ability to launch nuclear strikes. Now, remember, we talked about the president's role earlier. The president is the commander in chief of the armed forces. Nobody should have that specific ability except for him. Whether I like him or not, that's a completely different question. But as far as responsibility goes, we see how Congress is moving. They're trying to put more power in their hands with the expansion of their own private police force, with the expansion of all of these laws in which they're trying to make it so the power is lost by the state and goes to the federal government. Wake up now, people. Stand up now. Speak up now. Okay? You have to get the message out to your friends, your family, and everybody else that if we don't speak up now, it will be too late. Okay, so do what you need to do. Write your Congress people, write your local elected officials, town council, city council, whatever. write your assembly people, write everybody, email them, go show up to their office, okay, as much as possible. Coordinate with other friends of yours to do the same thing so that they can see that we do have a large contingent of people that are citizens that care about our country and do not want to see it go down this road, which is extremely negative. We have to stand up and speak up. So I'm encouraging you guys tonight, don't lose faith, please. Don't lose faith. Keep your faith in yourself. Keep your faith in your nation that we can come through this if we put enough positivity in it and follow that positivity up with action, because that's what we need, action. We can actually get stuff done. Okay? So I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight to Marcus Made in America. And remember, if you guys want to sponsor the show, you guys have a business or anything like that, you guys can sponsor the show. So reach out to me, reach out to the network. We can make that happen. We also have we appreciate all your support. So please share our videos, and anybody else that's on the network, check them out too, because they're all pretty good. I like most of them. Okay, I like all of them. But anyway, I'm a little partial to my show. But check them out. And definitely, if you want to sponsor us. And remember, I am running for city council in Rochester, New York. So if you like what I'm saying and if you like what you're hearing here, I am doing my best to be a voice for our people in our city. So check out my website, marcusforrochester.com, and definitely donate to me, to my campaign. And if you can and you're in Rochester, definitely vote for me and tell your friends to vote for me, because I'm out here working hard, because I know the value of small government. And I know that the local government is more important than the federal government. So you guys stay up, be blessed, be well, and I'll catch you guys soon. Catch you later.